Hello, everybody, and welcome to Longer and Harder, the show where we take enough subject and go deeper. I have with me today a special guest, the Incredible Aspie. If you want to say hi.
Oh, hello. How you guys doing? How's everybody doing? My name is I'm the Incredible Aspie. I have a YouTube channel. I am I'm a you could say a mildly autistic college student with all the wrong opinions, you could probably say. I'm mostly a musician, but I also make commentary videos like the one Rhetoric and or Skeptic Cat right here responded to, and I am he's here because after responding to my video, he placed his the link to the video and asked me if I would like to come on to his Sunday stream show to talk about everything, talk to me about my video and whatnot. So I instantly responded to him and I said, sure. And now we're here.
Yeah, so there we go. That's it. That's more or less it. So yeah. Things are a little bit different today. If you are a regular to the show, hi, and I'm sorry I won't be able to say hi to everybody today like usual, but if you're a regular, things are going to be different. I'm sorry. There is no beer of the week, there is no housekeeping, and there is no word of the week. We are just going to skip all that so that you can kind of get into the meatiness of it. If you're watching this live or not live, and you're watching this in the future, and you want some context for all of this, like Aspie said, there is a video that I released yesterday, so you can go watch. You should go watch that, and actually you should go watch Aspie's video, and then mine, and then this, and that'll give you all the context that you need to sort of understand what we are talking about. And I think that more or less covers it for everything that I need to say. So, oh yeah, Nightbot is here. Sorry guys.
The Nightbot's here. Anyway, yeah, making sure people don't go crazy in the chat. Anyway, yeah. By the way, I think how this should probably go is that you're obviously hosting me, so I think you should have the first say in asking me a question about my video. I saw your video, so you want to ask me anything?
Yes, so I did, because you left. Actually, it wasn't you. It was your I think I'm assuming one of your subs, JJ Simmons.
Oh, JJ.
I forget his full name. So, but he said something interesting, which was that I cherry picked your video, and then you kind of agreed with him. So I'm very curious to know what you think I cherry picked.
Well, here's the thing, I went through this was a very long 7-minute video where I went through, actually it was more of me talking than the actual video, but I would respond, they would do like an action or something, and I would respond to it. It was more or less a comedy video more than it was like a legitimate, responding, if I wanted to go through extreme research. I think there was one specific point where I got a little serious, but other than that, it was mostly comedy. It was mostly, and some, legitimate points in there mixed in. But when it comes to cherry picking, I don't want to say that you cherry picked, because my thing is that what I got from it is that you picked out the weaker points in my video and you responded to those rather than, going through the entire video and responding to everything that I said, because I think there was a few points where I actually did make a few legitimate and sound points, while the rest of it was just kind of comedy. And another thing, you responded to the 1984 joke. That was kind of it took me a very long to edit this video, and so it was kind of what you would call I couldn't think of a joke for the clapping, so I mean, clapping doesn't trigger me. So, but I was, I was trying to think of a joke for that specific timeline. I think I had another one, but I forgot it. So I just went with 1984. Okay. That's a commonly used reference. So I'm just going to go with something along those lines.
Okay, so that actually takes me to kind of what was the point of my video, which is that what I see happening, and I've seen it happening for a long time, is you have the SJW crowd, and then you have the anti-SJW crowd. And what I've seen happen is that they have become one and the same, where they get bothered by a lot of really superficial and petty nonsense. And I know you probably haven't watched my other videos, but I talked about this in the past, where like Milo Yiannopoulos gets pissy about people wishing him a happy holiday, and Gavin McInnes gets pissed because there's black people in movies, and Ben Shapiro gets pissed because gay people are in his TV show. Oh, excuse me. So it's a lot of these superficial nonsense that like is it's superficial, it's petty. There's no real reason to get mad about it. In the same vein that like I pointed out in the video, SJWs get mad at things like Wonder Woman's ass on the cover of a comic book.
I think you misunderstood. I didn't take a problem with the clapping, although I don't have a problem with clapping in general. What I have a problem, there was very circumstantial, is what I was saying, is that they were all clapping, because, I was saying because they're a far left-wing group, and, because I made that, it was a very arbitrary distinction I made, but at the same time, I was thinking, left-wing, clapping, collectivism, 1984, it just made sense in my head at the time. It was a joke. It was mostly a joke. I wasn't really making a comparison to a society where there was a video camera in every single household so that the party could watch what people were doing on their day-to-day lives. But it was mostly meant to be a joke. And I understand your point in taking things like that, the trivial things along those lines, and taking them as and just getting uptight about trivial things, but it wasn't really meant to be, this clapping is weird because they're all doing it together. I don't have a problem with clapping. It was just, it was mostly circumstantial is what I'm trying to say.
All right, so that's fine. I guess then the other thing that I sort of gave you a hard time about, and I think this was when I watched this was the catalyst for why I wanted to make this video, was when I called it checking your privilege. And I know you didn't exactly use those words, but in what I saw was you doing the exact same thing, which was you telling these women, hey, you shouldn't talk about this one political issue because it doesn't affect you as much as it affects other groups.
So you understand that when I first saw that, I actually thought of making a joke about that. I couldn't think of a joke for that specific, jailhouse thing. So again, that was just kind of a product of mechanics, you could probably say. I was thinking, okay, what am I going to say for the jailhouse thing? Oh yeah, they're women, and they don't get into prison. The justice system is very lenient on women when it comes to prison. Like, a woman can do something and a man can do something, and the man will get a longer prison sentence. I'm not denying that men commit more crime on average than women do. We have more testosterone, where there's a higher level of aggressiveness among men. It's a mere product of biology, but at the same time that the punishments are, different. And you could say it was kind of a checking your privilege moment, but at the same time, it wasn't, like check. When I said, I think I got a little too intense. Like when I said, like you said that I was saying that, oh, he's trying to shut down, dissent. That wasn't my intent. I think I may have gotten, when I said, you should hold your tongue, that was mostly a hyperbolic and rhetorical statement rather than a, shut up, bitch, is basically what it was.
Well, I mean, at the same time, when social justice warriors tell you the same thing, they aren't, in their heads, and this is, to them, they're not shutting down. They're not doing it to shut down an argument. They're doing it to make you aware of your privilege and that, people have it worse. The intention is sort of separate to what ends up happening.
No, you might be right on there. If I was to make I don't know why I added. The only reason why I added that in there is because I couldn't think of a joke. Actually, somebody put a joke down below, which I probably should have said in place of that. Which he said, I went down to the jailhouse and took back what they stole from me. What? Their boyfriends? That would have been much funnier. But this is but I couldn't think of a joke, so I thought, okay, female. I've got to think of a response for this section of female privilege when it comes to prison. Gotcha. And also it was kind of late at night and I wasn't, probably, maybe you're kind of right on that one. I was being a little bit too over the top, you could say.
So there was something else that you kind of had in your video, and I never showed this part. which was that you talked about. There was a few instances where you talked about, like, I think the line in the song was something like, "I went down to the white man's house and took back what he stole from me." And you said something along the lines, and correct me if I'm wrong. You said something along the lines of, more than likely he's actually producing something of value, and he earned his money with entrepreneurship and hard work.
Yeah, that's most of the time. I'm not denying that people in like Wall Street and stuff manipulate the financial system in order to make a gain, through a sort of dirty kind of through a dirty, scheme. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that most of the time, if you look at like the leader of Domino's, which I mentioned in my video, like Tom Mannigan and so on and so forth, many of these people earned their fortune through goodwill. So I don't see why why that would be a problem.
So I guess to me what and I didn't bring it up because I understand what you were trying to say, but at the same time it made you seem rather naive about the way that people earn money, because yes, people do earn money by hard work and entrepreneurship, but a lot of the time on the way to earning a lot of money on entrepreneurship, they do end up stepping on the little guys on the way up. That's why you have things like Walmart, which pays their employees crap to the point where a lot of them have to be on some sort of welfare program, and yet the owners can be these extraordinarily rich people, even though their employees have to actually rely on the government to make ends meet, or on each other. I don't agree
with what Walmart's doing with their employees. In fact, I think some people caught what Walmart was doing, and eventually Walmart started treating their employees better. But of course, I don't agree. If you're treating your employees very sour, I think that is kind of what you would call a dick move. So I would not be a big fan of telling people of abusing their employees. But at the same time, I believe the man from Walmart, actually, that was a long story too. The man who created, but he's long dead. So the CEOs now are the ones running it, and so on and so forth. It's a corporation, and I take accounting. So a corporation is separate. A corporation is separate from its owner. So yeah.
And this, just because I just saw this in the chat, one of my subs, Sean Huffer, just pointed out that Walmart is upping their pay, so they are changing it, which is probably a step in the right direction. But I'm talking about how it's sort of been for the past few years, and I guess Sean would know more about this. So Sean, feel free to keep correcting me about if I'm getting things wrong or not. What I'm remembering, and this is a few years old, is when Walmart pretty much sent out a newsletter asking employees to donate food for other employees who couldn't afford dinner for like Thanksgiving dinner, which is to me a rather scummy thing to do. Like, if your employees can't afford food, then you are not doing a good job at paying them off, or paying them a good way.
You could always do a majority plant-based diet, and those are a lot cheaper. But anyway, it also depends on what you do eat. I mean, I'm no vegan. I mean, I eat meat too, but I am somewhat of a proponent of a sort of quasi plant-based diet with some grass-fed meat and dairy on the side. But that's a discussion for another time. But the main point is that many of these employers have earned their way up. I mean, there are some dirty things that people do along the ways, but I guess suppose you could say everybody does some dirty things in their lives. And and the people who built that company, who went through a lot, to build their way up and so on and so forth. Those people, I believe people like that earn what they mostly have. Oh, I would also like to mention that after Trump's new tax plan, after he drastically cut the corporate tax, many major employers like AT&T and whatnot are now massively upping the pay of their employees because they now have so much extra money to do it. So
yeah. I would have to get that one fact checked, but I have a group of mods who can fact check how much AT&T's actually raising wages and all that nonsense, because I can't do it right now. So mods, this is why I have you around to do things for me sometimes. So yes, if somebody can look up, because I have heard of that one. I've also heard that Walmart was giving a big, like, I think altogether it was a roughly large number of bonuses, but when it actually came out to how much every employee was getting, it wasn't actually all that much.
Yeah.
So you know, I don't know how true that is, but I'm gonna let someone fact check that one for me if they could. But okay. So you are pretty much. Now I lost my train of thought. So excuse me. So I do understand that a lot of entrepreneurs work for where they get, but that still doesn't erase like the giant wealth discrepancies there are in this country, like where the people who make a lot of money make a crap ton more money than the people who don't.
I have a problem with that because I don't look at a billionaire and go, man, I wish I had. I mean, everybody wishes they had $1 billion, but I don't need $1 billion. You know, I'm not going to look at somebody with envy. You know, envy is to appeal to envy is a very low thing, I believe. So when I look at somebody who has a couple $1 billion, I'm like, you know, if they earned their $1 billion, they get to keep their $1 billion. I mean, I'm not jealous of that person just because they have more money than me. You know, unless they directly stole it from my hands, then I might have a problem.
Yeah, but so it's the discrepancy that's the problem. Where and I'm getting sort of facts from my chat here, so take them as you will, because you can go fact check them yourself or whatnots. But as somebody pointed out, Paranor pointed out, 84 people hold as much wealth as 4 billion people in the U.S. Or sorry, in the world. I don't know why I said U.S. So you have 84 individuals who hold as much wealth as 2/3 of the entire world's population.
Well, it depends on how you look at wealth. Wealth is usually looked at as not, you know, some people look at wealth as just one big giant pie, and like all these people have like their own, you know, square, have the massive piece of the pie. These like few people have a massive giant, have like most of the pie, and all the others have like this tiny little sliver. That's not really how it works. Wealth is not exactly something that is, you know, that's not, you know, stagnant. Wealth grows over time, and if somebody earns more wealth, that doesn't mean they've taken more. That doesn't mean they've taken more out of the pie. That just means they've made a bigger pie in my eyes.
Well, okay, so, but wealth is still, at the end of the day, there's only so much wealth to go around. Like, at any given moment, there is only so much wealth to go around. And when you you know, like a pie, you do, that analogy does work, where you do have a host of people who have a giant portion of the pie, while another group of people have this much smaller size. When it is a limited resource. I know that it sort of increases over time, but it's not like tomorrow the pie is twice as big. Like tomorrow the pie is slightly bigger, but the only people who get to enjoy that slightly bigger pie are the people who already had most of the pie. Right? Well, like if wealth increases in the US, I'm not gonna, you know, my pay isn't gonna personally go up. I'm not gonna all of a sudden, you know, the economy can increase in the US by $1 billion tomorrow. That doesn't mean that I'm going to get the appropriate billion of a dollar that I should for helping grow the economy. I will probably get none of it, and 84 individuals will probably get most of it.
Well, the thing is that was the whole point. Well, the thing about well, now you're getting into like trickle down economics and so on and whatnot. That's kind of
I mean, that's what AT&T was doing, right? Like that was the whole AT&T thing, was we get this tax cut, we're gonna do trickle down economics.
Well, yeah. Well, actually, it's more of a trickle. If you listen to him, I forgot what that name of that economist was. He was a black economist. He was a brilliant person. He wrote, Basic Economics. Thomas Sowell, brilliant economist, said that. He said that it's not trickle down, it's trickle up, because before money can go into the hands of CEOs and whatnot, they have to, it has to go way up. Sorry, my apologies. I'm trying to get my bearings. I sometimes go blank sometimes. In order for the CEOs to get their wealth, it has to go through the hands of employees before it can reach them. So it's basically a lot of that money has to go through the hands of a lot of people before it can reach the CEOs and whatnot.
I'm sorry. What?
messed up. I think also I'd like to mention that, like, I think how much does the CEO of Walmart make? Like $19 million. If we were to take, and I think like Walmart has like millions and millions. I do not want to look at the chat right now. It has like millions and millions of Walmart has millions and millions of employees. And the guy has like $19 million. So if you were to take everything he makes in a year and distribute it out to all their employees, you'd essentially be giving everybody, not a lot of money. It would just be like $3 or $4. It wouldn't be really big. So to use this sort of, millionaires or billionaires make a whole bunch of money while everybody else at the bottom makes none is kind of a fallacy in my eyes. Fallacious in my eyes.
Okay. So here's the thing. We're not talking about taking it from a single individual, right? We're talking about taking it from several, and like Paranor pointed out that 84 people own as much wealth as 4 billion people. We're like when we're talking about numbers like that, I don't know how you can justify that kind of discrepancy between wealth. And I'm not saying that everyone should earn exactly the same amount. I understand that people work harder and that people have harder jobs than other jobs, right? Like I don't necessarily think that somebody who has a job that requires less skill than the job I do should be making the exact same money I'm making. But what I am saying is that there, at some point, you reach this point where there is just a giant chasm where the people at the other end are making so much more than you are. Then I don't know how that's justified.
Well, it's justified if they've earned that money.
If they've earned that money, how do you?
I would like to mention. Well, another thing I would like to mention is that, if you look at America, this is into economics. I mean, I haven't read up on my economics in a long time, so I can mostly just argue on principle. And on principle, in my eyes, if somebody earns a couple $1 billion, they've earned that couple $1 billion. Okay. If the government wants, we can argue about tax policy, economics, and so on and whatnot. But I think we're getting a little bit off track here. But just in principle, I believe if somebody earns their money, they get to keep it. That's essentially you can talk about tax policy and whatnot another time, but that's basically just my statement on principle.
So how do you earn a couple of $1 billion?
You create a product that everybody wants, and millions of people buy it. Well, like Apple, Steve Jobs made billions of dollars because he created a product that everybody wanted, and and so many people bought it that he made his couple $1 billion.
All right, and so okay. Selling star. Sorry, I'm reading the chat. Someone's telling me all the things. Okay. I don't know. I don't know how to sort of point you in a different direction on this one, because I mean, on the one hand, I understand what you're saying about earning, but at the same time, I don't know how somebody can earn such a ridiculous amount more than the people who produce, as much as you can say, Steve Jobs came up with this great idea to stick a touchscreen on a device, right? Or whatever idea, right? He came up with this idea, and so he should get paid for coming up with this idea. He wouldn't have that. He wouldn't even have anywhere near that amount of money if he weren't paying people in China crap amounts of money to build the actual iPhones, right? Like the only reason that he gets such a ludicrous amount of money is because at some point down the line, he gypped someone else of proper earnings. He paid someone pennies for doing a job that should have been more. And that is true of a lot of I don't think you could ever name a corporation or an entity that has somehow made its money entirely by being fair to the people who actually built the product that they.
Well, if you're talking about, if you're talking about it depends on what corporation you're talking about. If you're talking about these massive multinational corporations and so on and so what, we're somewhat in agreement here because a lot of them have used their power to, to manipulate the governments in these other countries and whatnot in order to pay their employees that badly. And, I don't agree with that. However, if you're talking about the small local corporation that hires locals in the area, I don't know if I wouldn't call those people bad. But if you're talking about, a big multinational corporation like Apple that pays their employees in China, cents an hour, I don't exactly agree with that. Also, we could also talk about the coltan trade and so what, and other stuff, and the mining in the Congo and whatnot. But I think we should get back to talking about the other points in my video because I think this has gone off on a tangent.
Welcome to my show. This is the tangent show. This is normal. Everyone expects us to go on a tangent. Don't worry about
I know. Thing is, I'm not an economist. I'm not well read up enough to argue on the point of whether or not somebody should on economic issues and whatnot. So I think we should, steer away from this and go to and talk about our videos a little bit more.
All right, no, fair enough. You know what? I can respect you saying that you don't know and you're not quite familiar with it. That is I prefer that answer to you pretending like you do. I do. Okay. So I guess let's see what other points. I brought up the point about
I know you brought up the fat people.
The fat people. You had 2 fat jokes in your video. What is with the fat jokes?
My video was a comedy video, and I saw all those women in the whole entire choir were skinny, and there's that one black chick in the middle, the conductor who was somewhat overweight, and I was just like, that's actually kind of funny. I'll make a joke about that. Again, my video was mostly comedic. It wasn't meant to be serious. I don't know if you're into fat. I don't know if you agree with fat positivity or not. I assume that you don't. No, if there's that everybody people can be healthy at any size. Shut up. But anyway, this it was a joke. It was a joke. Bottom line is essentially what it was.
Which I think is a problem. So one of the things that, because I entirely understand that we live in a country where people are more than slightly overweight, and that we should
slightly.
I'm being generous. And that we should encourage people. But there's a difference between encouraging people to be fit and to live healthy lives. But there's a difference between encouraging people and making fun of them.
Fat. So I was essentially fat shaming, but it's one thing if she has a glandular problem. It's another thing if she has a buffet problem. If the thing. So
how do you know which problem she had based on this choir performance?
Usually when people have a glandular problem, they have really large necks and whatnot. I'm not a doctor either, but even so, it was just the chance. But those are so rare that if you go to where if she actually did have a glandular problem, I'd be shocked, honestly, and I'd probably apologize because I wouldn't know. But 99% of the time, it's especially in America, it's usually overeating. So
while I understand your explanation, I don't think it's a valid explanation. Mostly because I still very much so think you're in the wrong to. And I don't want to use the word fat shame, but that is what you were doing, and I don't want to use it because it's got all sorts of fucking baggage attached to it.
It was a joke. It was mostly a joke. I mean, I have no ill will against that choir. It's just, it was a joke, you know. That's what you do that's what you do. And I think people should learn to take jokes. I mean, obviously, if somebody tells you that you're fat, you should, you know, look at yourself and take action. I mean, I don't know why people who are overweight like that, why people have such an urgency to give them a victim status. I mean, if somebody's overweight, you'd think that they would do stuff, you know, not to be overweight, you know, because, you know, your rate of disease goes up and all of this. So if you don't want to be fat, just exercise, you know, eat better, you know, those lines.
God, I want to just because it's funny. I want to say check your privilege there, but I shouldn't
really check my privilege. Really?
No. That was a joke. You feel free to keep talking.
I know.
No, it's like I feel like you were giving. Not and I guess I talk because I'm not like I'm overweight, but it's like, as somebody who has to actually exercise and watch their diet to stay at a, you know, a fit condition, it's not easy, and to like at all remotely is it easy. I
know it's not easy. I've watched my 600-pound life. I mean, it's not an easy thing to do, but at the same time, and I don't think people should be, you know, discriminated against because they're fat, you know, but at the same time, if you but again, people should be encouraged, you know, to lose weight and whatnot. But again, it was a joke. It wasn't meant any malice or anything. It was merely a joke.
So, okay, I'm going to tell you a quick story just because we're here. So I have a friend of mine, who a Facebook friend, so you can call him, you know, acquaintance or whatever, who constantly posts extremely ignorant and stupid shit on the internet. And his excuse at the end of it, when everybody sort of turns around and calls him out on it, is to say that it was a joke, or he's just trying to get shits and giggles out of it. And the reason that I bring this up is because it's been a trend that I've seen a lot in the again in the sort of the anti-SJW, is the we're just trolling is just a joke. It's just, you know, why are you taking this seriously? It always seems to be the excuse for not thinking about what you're saying before you say it.
I can understand that to a degree. I mean, and there are people talking in the chat, you know, they had said that they have asthma and whatnot. I have no problem. I mean,
hey, Aspie, I'm going to stop you only because your connection seems to be cut out a little bit, so you're kind of roboting.
All right. Yeah, sorry. I probably need to. I probably wasn't close enough. My apologies. Yeah, it was cutting out. Yeah, keep going.
Feel free to repeat that, because I'm not sure how much anyone caught of what you said.
I mean, if somebody has problems, I can understand that many people have problems in their lives, you know, doing stuff at the end of the day. You know, I can feel sorry for people who have, you know, genuine problems in their lives and they become overweight because of them. But at the end of the day, the one thing that you have to do is, you know, to lose weight is, you know, eat better, exercise, and, you know, and if you have problems like that, you know, try to work around them. You know, I mean, I don't know your circumstances in life, but at the same time, it's still, you know, just try to be better. Try to better your habits, and, you know, do what you can.
See, what you just said is a far more positive and far more encouraging thing that you just said. Like, if you have a problem and you want to fix it, do your best to do it. What you just said was so much different than what you said in the video. What you said in the video was very much, haha, you're fat. What you are saying now is very much, it is, you know, more encouraging. It is more like, try to get around it, find a way. You are in that, and what you just said, encouraging people. What you did in the video was not that. What you did in the video was very much so just making fun of somebody for their appearance.
I understand. It may have been petty. When I was making the reaction video, it was meant to be a joke. You know, you're sometimes, you know, displaced from, you know, the people who you're making fun of. But at the same time, all the jokes I said were not done out of malicious intent. In fact, I think people would watch this and just go, hey, he's just making a joke. He's not being serious about me. He doesn't know anything. He's just making a joke. You know, I didn't have any problems with the people in the bit. I kind of did, but at the same time, I just didn't agree. I didn't agree with the politics. I didn't agree with what they were espousing. In fact, I am very much opposed to far left-wing ideology because I think it's disgusting. And I thought in that circumstance that maybe that at this point somebody I think Steven Crowder said it best. If you are like, if you're fat and you're trying to change your life, we won't make fun of you. Okay. If you know, I don't like it when people make fun of fat people at the gym, because I'm just like, really, dude, really. But if you're fat and a lot of these feminists and so on and somewhat believe in fat positivity, where they believe that they can be where they can be healthy at any size. And I'm just like, really? And is if somebody believes that and they, you know, they're destroying themselves, it somewhat warrants, you know, being made fun of, because they're essentially destroying themselves, essentially.
I guess my issue with what you just said is, you know, I don't know how you know that that's what just happened, like with this particular woman, like, you know, I'm gonna have to be that guy who says, you don't know how often she exercises. You don't know if she does have a regimen scheduled of, you know, she eats her vegetables every day. You don't know if she started yesterday or if she started a year ago. You don't know if right now she's at 300 pounds when she was at 600 a year ago. You knew none of that at all, and yet you still felt the need to do it. So if you're going to stand by this idea that you're not going to make fun of people who are fat but are trying to get skinny or trying to better their lives, then I feel like the best way to do that is to not make fun of fat people, period, because you never know where in that stage they are. Because you could be right. They could be somebody who just doesn't care. They could be somebody who just eats at McDonald's every day and doesn't give a fuck about their well-being or whatever.
Well, again, I think it matters on intention. When I was making fun of her, I wasn't meaning to be malicious. I mean, I think people would know if I'm joking or not. I mean, if you don't like the joke, ignore it. I mean, that's all I have to say. But then my intention is still the same. Does that mean, you know, comedians can't make fun of fat people because, you know, it's bad for the culture or it's bad for them, because I just don't agree. Because I just don't agree with this kind of I'm a victim. Listen, I mean, I don't know your life. I don't know everything. But at the same time, at this end of the day, it's just a joke. It's not meant to hurt anybody. It's a joke. Take it seriously. And just don't take it seriously. That's all I have to say.
Okay. So just because it seems to be the thing that the chat is saying, so I'll just tell you, is that however it is that you said it, your intention didn't come off that way. At least according to my chat, which is, you know, a very biased representation of the kind of people, because they're my subscribers, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So it's a biased representation, but my subscribers, at least in the chat, and including me, because I did respond to this, didn't see it as a joke. And just to throw in another thing, before I responded to you, and even after I responded to you, I showed your video to my wife, and even she was kind of appalled with what you said. So there seems to be that regardless of your intention, it didn't come off that way.
You know, my dad's overweight, and he thought it was hilarious, ironically.
All right.
Yeah, I guess he saw. I guess people, when you're on the, I just assumed that since we're on the internet and I'm in that kind of, you know, genre, you could say loose genre of YouTubers, that people would look at that and go, oh, he's just joking. It does not mean, because people say a lot of things that they don't mean, especially in comedy. You may have somebody go up on stage at a comedy show. This is mean. It seems like your argument is we should not make fun of fat people, because if we do, they're not going to help themselves, or it just hurts the problem more than it helps. But I think it's kind of neutral. Jokes are jokes. My argument stays.
So okay, and this was actually one of the things that I talked to my wife about, because and you don't know this because you don't know me very well, and that's okay. But one of the reasons that I say that making fun of fat people doesn't work is because I'm a behavior therapist. My job is to change people's behavior, and I don't like, I'm gonna bring out my authority at this point and be like, I kind of know how human behavior works, and making fun of people for being fat does not work. Like, making fun of anybody for their mistakes or what they have done wrong does not actually work to encourage them to do it. And that's from,
I'm not a therapist. I'm a
comedian. I know. I am. That's why I'm saying it.
I'm not a therapist. I'm a comedian. The intention stays the same. I was not making fun of her, to be mean. I was making fun of her because it was a comedy video. That's what. Should we ban comedy?
I don't know. I don't think you should ban comedy. I just, there's
So, I know Paranor 001. I'm not a comedian. I'm more of a musician, but whatever. I try. I know terrible, but whatever.
So anyway. There seems to be a lot of confusion, and I will attest to this because I did sit around and make a response video to you. Is that there seems to be some amount of confusion about how serious your video was.
Okay. Tell me how serious you think my video was.
I mean, it's serious enough for me to spend 4 hours writing a script and recording a video about it.
It took you 4 hours to write a script?
I sit around and do my research. I have learned not to sit in front of the mic and just say whatever comes out of my mouth. I've learned to sit down and write a script and choose my words very carefully. So yes, it takes me like 4 hours to write a script and record it and edit it.
Yeah, but so why? So you say that because you're a behavior therapist, I'm telling people, I'm just curious. How did you come across my video anyway?
Oh, you don't know? Oh shit! I was part of the Cringemas group, so you did that song.
Oh, so you went to my channel and looked around and you found
No. You shared it in that group chat that we were in about Cringemas. You shared that video like a month ago.
I think I actually remember you from being in there. Yeah.
I think on the Twitter that was Santa Claus at the time, as my Twitters constantly change.
Oh yeah. I did not know what you looked like. So
no, that's fine. I usually have a Starbucks hat on.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. So you saw it in the chat and you just clicked on it and you're like, oh,
well, yeah, you shared it with us, so I decided to watch it.
I'm not going to deny. I mean, my intent, maybe you're right on this. Maybe it was a little too far for me to say that joke about the fat person, but I suppose your intentions don't always match up with your, both of my parents watched the video and they thought it was funny. Even my mother thought it was funny, and I understand, but the thing was not a personal attack. It was not, like, oh, you need to, it did not have all these connotations. I was making a video. I saw that a woman was overweight, and I just kind of made fun of it. I mean, I highly doubt that she's going to see my video. I mean, I'm just a spot off the millions of videos that are in my in YouTube. So I did not think that, that me making fun of a fat person was, that had so many of these negative connotations. But I did not have any negative intentions when making the video. It was merely just, I don't like what these people stand for. I don't like their ideology. I don't like what they did, what they're doing with the art that I like. So I made a response video. Yeah.
Okay. And it's and surprisingly, some in the chat are agreeing with you that intentions don't always match up with perception. And it's hard on the YouTubes to sometimes, get your actual intentions out.
I just don't like censoring. I mean, comedy's comedy. I mean, comedy has taken a huge hit over the last couple of years because of all this, far left, social justice identity stuff. And I just don't agree with it. I think that everybody has a right to be. Yes. Sometimes the best thing you can do in order to, get over your problems is to laugh about them. You know, sometimes the best thing laughter is a beautiful thing. That's why I think their laughter exists, is because, you know, if you look at some of the most miserable society, some of the worst societies in the planet, you know, like South Africa and whatnot, a lot of the people who lived through the apartheid and stuff have great senses of humor, because, you know, that's how they, you know, get past all the hardships in their life. And obviously, I don't think laughing at your own, I'm autistic. I sometimes laugh at my behavior too, but I think I don't mind when people make fun of me. I don't mind when people, you know, point out how, you know, weird I am. It's just, I know that I'm an oddball, but I don't, you know, if people make fun of me, I don't take it personally is basically what I'm saying. I think people need to stop taking jokes like that so personally about themselves. And I think if she saw that video, she would have two reactions. One, well, judging by her ideology, she'd probably be appalled as well. But I think that it also depends on perception and personal integrity. Like, if you have a lot of personal integrity, you might, that woman, if that woman hypothetically has a lot of high personal integrity, she would look at my video and just kind of roll her eyes, or laugh along with me and just kind of go on with her day. Or she may, you know, get overly offended, because you have people who try to be offended at everything, and, you know, she'd probably be especially offended at that. But at the same time, people need to learn how to have a more personal integrity with themselves. And, you know, and getting into the whole, you know, nuance and the rabbit hole of kind of, you know, like in the chat, somebody mentioned that because they were raped, you know, that she knows that a lot of women who are raped overeat to, you know, get over it, you know, that. And I don't think I would, you know, recommend that, because that's obviously not a good habit to have. I mean, you go see a therapist or something, because I mean, I know it's not easy, but at the same time, that's not a good habit to pick up. But at the same time, I think people need to learn, regardless of all the other, you know, circumstances and whatnot, is to look at life through more of a kind of positive lens, and more of a, and people should grow a spine rather than, you know, looking at something like that and having it ruining their whole day.
So in a lot of ways, I would actually agree with you about the fact that people are too easily offended. I guess my argument would be, where I would disagree with you a lot, is that I don't think it is something that is represented entirely in the left. I think it is something that is represented in the far right as well. I think the far right is way easily offended. I think there is much snowflakes as the left are, which is why I picked your video in particular, because I think it reflected it.
Dude. So, sorry, I gotta respond to this guy on here. I'm trying to find it. This guy, Paranoid001, said, "Holy fuck, Aspie, you're bringing up eating with being sexually assaulted shows you have no fucking clue about human behavior." Dude, I was not making any comparisons, okay? A guy mentioned up above that women sometimes overeat because they've been sexually assaulted. I was not addressing that in any way. I was mostly just saying, listen, that's minutia. That's a whole nother circumstance that could be talked about another date. But I was kind of disregarding that for the sake of argumentation. I wasn't making any sort of, you know, comparisons. But anyway, keep going.
Yes, my chat is very lively.
They are very lively. They're very nice, you could say. Yeah, anyway, keep going.
Sorry, people are distracting me in the chat, which I was warned not to have my chat open because they are squirrely ones. What was I saying? Something. Oh yeah. So is when you brought up earlier how like humor is being attacked by SJWs. I know you say that, but at the same time, I see it being. I see people on both ends being easily offended. I've made a video about Milo Yiannopoulos being offended because somebody wished him a happy holiday. And that offended him so much that he had to have a talk about it at some college campus, about how much this offended him. And I
mean, I can agree with that to an extent. I think both sides need to especially some people who are like farther to the right or who are easily triggered by certain things I mean, if somebody said happy holidays, I would just I would smile. I'd be rolling my eyes on the inside, but on the outside, I would go, thanks, you know, because I mean, I don't exactly agree with it. I mean, Christmas time is for Christmas. I I mean, I don't think really holidays like Kwanzaa are really real, but it was created by Kwanzaa was actually created by Black nationalists, but that's a conversation for another time. My thing is that I do believe that some people need to learn not to be offended by stuff.
Yeah, but the thing is, and the reason that I bring up Milo Yiannopoulos in particular is because he is the queen of telling everyone else that they are easily offended. That's his whole shtick, is you all are easily offended, and yet his reaction to everyone else being easily offended is to be easily offended himself.
I mean, I haven't seen the video. Yeah, I mean, you can DM it to me in the Twitter afterwards, you know, so I can watch it and see for myself. But yeah.
Well, the reason that I bring it up is because that's why I did check my Hangout app, Sean. Thank you. The reason that I bring up Milo is that is the reason why I made the video on you, because I saw you doing the same thing. I saw you being, as I pointed out, sort of petty and superficial, like being offended about things that you don't need to be offended by, in sort of the same way that you were like, you know, it's a joke, just get over it. It's a choir, like, let it go. Like, it's not a big deal that people make music that doesn't necessarily appeals to you, or that you don't like the message of. Like,
well, I saw the video a long time ago, and I wondered why nobody had responded to it, and so I decided, you know, if I ever get a YouTube channel, I'm going to respond to this video. And then I decided, you know what, I'm going to respond to this video now. So
yeah, but I think, you know, maybe part of the reason why nobody had actually responded to it was because to respond to it would mean to sort of be petty and respond to something that isn't a big deal. Like, in the same way that you sort of say it's a joke, it's just a choir performance.
I think that's why I didn't go. I think that's the reason why I didn't go through a lot of work and doing research and whatnot, is because I thought, okay, this is just a choir. It's just something funny. It's just for shits and giggles. So I'm just going to go on and I'm going to make some jokes, and then, you know, get on to, you know, and to have a little bit of fun with this, and then make my first response video. And it was and it had very positive reactions from my crowd, but my crowd is my crowd. So
yes, your crowd, like my crowd, is probably very biased on what they like.
Yeah, they like that kind of, you know, mean humor and whatnot. That kind of, we do it to each other all the time, but when you go outside your realm, you know, so other people have different thoughts about the world, which, you know, I might want to lower my bandwidth a little bit.
There we go. Feel free to.
All right, there we go. That's better. All right, because sometimes my computer freezes. Last night I was on OBS, so we were responding to vegan cooking. That was kind of, we got a few.
Yes, I did notice that.
Yeah, I did. I actually a few of you respond in the chat, and they're all doing the same thing, calling for me to debate a vegan. And I'm just like, I actually talked to a vegan last night. He posted the link to a hangout in the comment section of my chat, and I went to it, and we talked for a little bit, but his microphone was off, so we left soon afterwards.
Oh boy, do I have a vegan that you should talk to, but I will send you a link to him later. So I want to, before we sort of end this conversation, I wanted to open this up because it sounds like my chat is rather active. So chat, dear chat, now is the time where if you
great.
Yes, I'm gonna make you read their things. Yes, it is part-time vegan. If you have a question for either me or Aspie, which I get the feeling a lot of these are going to be for Aspie, now is the time to put those in there. I would strongly suggest that you either put at Rhetoric&Discourse in front of the question, or at the Incredible Aspie before the question, so that it actually pops up, and we can actually see it. But if you have any questions for either of us, this is kind of the time to bring those up, and we will try to address
no questions for Aspie. He's only shown dishonesty here. I haven't been dishonest. I'm not a very articulate person. Paranoia 101. What is that road worn sign in the background? Oh yeah, my mom put that there. You know, she decorates my room. You know, I have no sense of fashion, or I'm not a very colorful person, so she decorates my room for me. So yeah.
You got one from Wooden Toad.
Hey, some guy said, "Hey, rape apologist, do you think women who have been raped should grow a spine?"
And that's a lady, by the way, not a dude.
You're misrepresenting what I said. I never said women who have gotten raped should grow a spine. I do think they should go to therapy, that they should have people around them that support them, but I never said that women who got raped should just, grow a spine. You're misrepresenting something that I said. All right.
So the next two are for me. I have Sewer Tapes. I'm firmly on Aspie's side about the joke. It was bad, but I'll fight for his right to say it. I don't want to take away Aspie's right to say his jokes. I am fully in. He is allowed to do whatever he wants. That's fine.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that doesn't mean that I am not entitled to also criticize his videos or anyone else's videos. I will gladly criticize anyone's videos regardless.
Oh yeah, Richard Ski said something interesting. Aspie, you're a young lad. It's fine to have a laugh, but please think before you talk sometimes. That's true. I sometimes I think a typical guy sometimes talks before he thinks sometimes, but yeah, but I sometimes, but especially with me, I sometimes sometimes talk before I think, because I can't think of anything, so I just start talking, because it's awkward. I don't like awkward silence.
There you go. Bluigi has this to say: Did you or did not finish Globebusters video from last week? I have not. But since it seems like this hangout will probably end here soon, we will probably have a regular Longer and Harder and talk about that Globebusters video, because I think it's still on my computer. So there's your answer to that one. Rhetoric and Discourse. Can we talk about cleavage in your streams? We can always talk about cleavage. Cleavage is always welcomed. Yes, woman. Cleavage is always welcomed. You have one from Bohobo. You have a question, Aspie. Or a comment.
RT. Okay. All right, from Hobo. Oh yeah, this guy up here. Blue. I know Blue asked me, "Do I smoke weed?" No, I don't. I'm a clean person. All right, where is that from, McLobo? Is it?
Bohobo has this.
Oh yeah,
Incredible Aspie.
Please work on your joke delivery so that viewers has a better chance of guessing if you're being sarcastic or not. Yeah, I think I should. I think everybody thought I had a bad intentions with that. No. Paranor 001. You're not articulate in honesty. I'm being honest. I'm being honest here, dude. Anyway, wait, smoking cannabis means you're unclean. Anyway, this is this Globebusters or cleavage? I don't know.
Or cleavage. That's my life now.
What's the mean? But for the both of you, what is the meaning of life? I'm a Christian, so it's to serve God. I'm joking. Yeah, actually I'm not. But anyway, let's keep going. Let's see if there's any. What's Globetrotters? What's
Globebusters? Not Globetrotters. Globebusters, and they are a show that does flat Earth videos on a weekly basis.
I see. Oh, an Incredible Aspie. I don't understand this. Deadpan works well situationally.
Well, there you go.
I don't understand that. 42 is the only answer. Next time, man, I gotta say that. I mean, you should have seen the chat in one of my. Aspie started the hang trying to wrench control, and he's not ending it by trying to wrench control.
Well, there you go.
I didn't wrench control. Okay. About Incredible Aspie, about your comedy delivery. I know it's bad. I'm not a very person. You have admitted verbal diarrhea. I suggest that you try to work on that. I'll say it'll save you much grief later on. How much it sucks when your brain is full on introvert. I'm a Christian. I think the meaning of life depends on a person you're asking, but because of the context, I'll let that slide. True.
Let's see. I got 2. I got Bob. Yes, I will shut off anti-caps on Nightbot. I know Nightbot's a bit of a dick.
Paranor001. I never tried to compare to rape with. Anyway, I'm just going to ignore you now. You're obviously just looking to be you're looking for something that isn't there, dude. Incredible Aspie. Props for being here. Thank you. I'm always willing to have conversations with people who disagree with me.
That is true. Nobody, like I said, you were the first person to actually come on my channel because I'm gonna just go with most people are too scared to come onto my channel.
What does ROFL mean?
Rolling on the floor laughing.
Oh, rolling on the floor laughing. He gave me the hangout sign. I can see.
Let's see. There was one. I'm going to reiterate something Sean Hufford said. How was your video mean humor, but also wasn't mean to offend? It can only be one or the other.
Well, offensive humor is sometimes offensive, so.
By offensive, do you mean like risque humor?
Yeah, that was the intention. Yeah, risque humor, you could say. Aspie, I understand the issue with making jokes. The internet is not exactly the easiest place to execute them. However, think first. I will remember the next time. Sorry, you don't like anyone pointing out how your own body is speaking against you, Aspie. What do you mean? What do you mean my own body speaking out against me?
I should just get you two a table together and you two can hash it out. Paranors is a great guy, so if he's got a lot to say, it's worth listening to.
Yeah, you can if you can get him in here, get him in here.
Oh, I'm not sure I want to do
Paranor. He might tear me he might try to tear me to shreds.
Paranor, you have somebody here who actually wants to talk to you. If you would like to, I will give you platform, but okay. You know, at the moment, that's fine.
No, you don't. Body facial language. I'm rather skilled at it. No, you don't, ATM. At the moment.
Yes. All right. So we will on all those notes, those were all wonderful questions. Thank you, everybody, for showing up and asking wonderful questions. Thank you, Aspie, for being the first. And maybe, oh God, you still have more. You still have more questions.
All right, they had to get them all out.
Yeah.
Incredible Aspie, rape. A reason why someone can be fat. It is to think about these things just so saying get over being fat would negatively affect that person. I'm not saying that I'm not saying you shouldn't encourage people, but comedy is comedy, my friend. Again, it's just listen, it's all about being it's comparing rape. I'm not comparing being raped to being fat. It's not the same thing. I'm really trying to work through my responses, but my brain does not work very fast right now, especially when I'm under pressure. All right. Aspie, Coke or Pepsi? Pepsi, because Coke will rot your teeth out. Trust me. I mean, Pepsi does that too, to an extent, but it's not as bad, I don't think.
Yeah, Jared, you didn't actually get me to say that. You got to pay for that shit. Sorry, I got to show myself out when I can. All right. So, with that said, point him to my channel. Okay. So I guess go visit Sean Hufford. He would like to show you a picture of himself. And would like to hear your reaction. I guess I could try to find a picture of you. Sean, send me a picture of you, and then I can show it, because that's easier than me actually trying to go through your videos and find one. And I will try, and maybe we can get a live reaction, because I'd be okay with that. So if you can, Sean, like, actually send me a picture, and I will post the thing about it. And you still have a lot of questions, Aspie. You are very popular today, Aspie.
I know. I'm going to be hated after this. Wait till everybody finds my Twitter. You're supposed to chug it. We are giving you a reason why just saying something like it can be bad to think about it later. I understand. I mean, people care about me. I understand that people may take what I said the wrong way, you know, and I was probably being a little bit too mean in the video. I mean, I copied a lot. I'm a very copycatish person. That's how I learn. I am through modeling behavior. And I watched some of these other comedy videos and what they say, and I just went along with what they did. So That's basically how I learned. That's how I tried to try my comedy. Just hope you learn from this. It's all about, that's all about all you can be done. Learn about it and move on. Sure. It was,
you do have a couple compliments. Even in Paranor even gave you a compliment, which is
Aspie's got balls. I'm willing to come on. Modeling behavior, giggles, paranoid. Paranor 101 001 hates me now. He hates me. Aspie, think when you talk. That's it. Okay, I will. Thank you.
Oh, okay.
Paranor. All right.
Like I said, I'm a behavior therapist, and Paranor is very learned in the field. So that's why he kind of he's criticizing you on that level.
What do you mean? I mean, you mean when it comes to rape? You mean he's very skilled in that area, or what? No. What?
He's very learned in the field of behavior therapy or behavior.
Oh, I see. He's a behavioral therapist too. I do not
but he knows
hate you. I dislike your dishonesty. What am I being dishonest about? I don't know what I'm being dishonest about. Paranor 001. Can you please tell me?
All right, this one Nim has. If you put nudes on a Discord, you will get more Patreons. That is true. I will get more Patreons. Speaking of which, since we have a bit of a lull, and we will get to everyone's questions, I promise. So we have a bit of a lull. We are like at $45 on our $120 goal mark to be able to get a sexy housekeeper. So keep going, and we can get ourselves a sexy housekeeper.
What the heck? Paranor said, unfortunately, I am experienced in sexual assault as well.
There you go.
Oh, dear.
He's been a victim of, not...
Oh, he's been a victim of? Oh, that explains it, too. I pointed out many reactions your body and did throughout this hangout. I'm very odd. I'm oddly autistic, so I move in a lot of ways. Yes, I was very nervous doing this, and I think it showed in my facial structure and whatnot. But I still came on.
Yep. You have one from Guyver Yoda that says, Aspie, I think you should really learn about nuance. Things are rarely black and white.
I understand. There's a bit of that's why I went from being a political scientist from political science to accounting, because I'm better with numbers and accurate calculations rather than nuance. Nuance really bothers me sometimes. Autism doesn't dictate how a human body reactions. You cannot excuse that just because you're ASD. Sorry, I'm not trying to excuse anything. It's just everything's a bit more. I was just Paranor, I was 001. I was just very nervous. I was not sure. I think what he thinks I was being dishonest about is when I said the joke about the fat Pete was when I was saying the joke about the fat people that I was being malicious, he thinks that I was being malicious when I was making the jokes about the fat people. I really was not. I was just making a response video. I was kind of really emotionally detached from it during the whole process. So it was just kind of yes, you did try to excuse it. Maybe I did. My apologies, Paranor. But anyway, translate what I think. You're wrong trying to translate what I think or feel. Sorry. Anyway, I'm going to stop looking at the chat. This is getting, it's too much. It's too much.
My chat is very interactive.
Very interactive. Well, I know.
I will say, I think you were the one. And I don't remember if it was you or someone else in that group, but I think you were the one who pointed me towards this one Tumblr girl who talked about ABA therapy and the horrors of it. I don't know if it was you or if it was someone else.
ABA therapy. What was that?
I guess it wasn't you, because if you don't know what that is.
What is it?
ABA therapy is applied behavior analysis. I'm a behavior therapist. I work with people on the spectrum, on the autism spectrum, to help them be better at life, I guess.
Oh, I see. So so you probably know about people with so you know a lot about people with my disorder, huh?
Yes, I do. I work with the autism community a lot.
Yeah. Cool. I mean, I know the things, I used to do this a lot, I still move my feet around a lot because it's kind of a nervous, it's a twitch that I get, but But anyway, it's still very cool that I get to talk. I didn't know you were a behavioral therapist. I thought you were just somebody on YouTube.
No, I mean, I am just somebody on YouTube.
Yeah.
But I do have a job and a career outside of that.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you have a master's degree, or do you have a just a regular bachelor's degree?
I have a bachelor's in Rhetoric and Discourse, which is very helpful in psychology. Not really. I'm just very well trained in a lot of experience in my area.
Yeah. I'm a dual major in general music and accounting, because one of those is my passion, music, and the other one is more my I think that's what they're saying. I think I should probably more stick to music and stuff rather than making response videos, because I think I'm digging myself into a hole which I probably will not be able to dig myself out of eventually.
I will say I did enjoy the little bit of sort of singing you did before we started, because you just sort of show off a little bit, and that was great. You are very talented in that regard.
Let me
I haven't watched through your other ones. If you want to show off, I'm trying to delay Sean Hufford doing the thing that he said he was. Oh no, he did do the thing he said he was going to do. So yes, I will give you a little bit if you want to.
All right.
Show off. Go for it.
All right. All right, let me sing a little bit of a little bit of Iron Maiden for everybody. I'm waiting in my cold cell when the bell begins to chime, reflecting on my past life, and it doesn't have much time. 'Cause at 5 o'clock, they take me to the gallows pole. The sands of time for me are running low. Running low. I think that's about it.
All right, awesome. All right, so this, the image that you get to see now, this is Sean Hufford.
Yeah. No, who's Sean Hufford? Oh,
he's a man with literal tits. Those aren't fake.
Those are fake? What?
No, those aren't fake.
Those aren't fake. Wow. Do you think he doesn't? Do you think he might have like what is it called? Gynocastia or something? A disease that people get, when they have too much estrogen.
He's a man. I'm going to let Sean. Hopefully, Sean is still listening to all this, and Sean can answer this. But he wanted your reaction on people like him. And we have questions: is it disease or disorder? So yes, people are curious about your reaction to this, I suppose.
All right, let's keep going. Yeah. Actually, by the way, I'm not really that young. I'm actually 21 years old.
Oh, you are a fucking child.
Oh, I am.
You are.
I'm 21. I'm actually 21 years old. I just still live with my parents and go to college.
Yeah, you are, no offense, but you are a child. Bilateral gynecomastia? I'm sorry, Sean. I'm terrible at this. It's not a disease. It is a condition, says Sean himself. So yeah, I'm sorry. I would consider you a child, but I am old. So
yeah.
So that is where that is. All right. Well, I think with that, I think we will end there. Before the chat is just full of distractions all the time.
It is. My chat isn't really that bad. It's somewhat cancerous depending on who's in there. I remember if you put the Twitter handles of people's Twitters in the title of your video, it'll pop up in their feed every time somebody likes the video. So I tried doing that with the vegan YouTubers, and I think some of them got the notification because I think Ask Yourself said that I was a weirdo in his Discord. I'm not in his Discord, but I think that's what somebody said he said.
All right, you have a question from Sean, because Sean, I'm trying to give people the last word, but apparently it's failing because I've been trying to give people the last word for like 20 minutes. Sean Hufford says, it is a glandular. Gonna make fun of me for a gland issue?
What? I don't understand.
Are you gonna make fun of Sean for having a gland issue?
Oh no. Oh no. I'm sure he's some figure. I can't think of any jokes at the top of my head. So I'm Joe. Nah. Maybe if you ask, maybe I might just make fun of you, Sean. You never know. Don't show me a picture. Anyway, I'm joking around. Are we gonna keep going, or are you gonna end it?
No, we could end it here because it sounds like we've gotten through a lot of questions, and I'm gonna thank again for like the third time before my squirrely chat distracts me again. I'm gonna thank each and every one of you for stopping by. I love it that you all stopped by for this very special, longer and harder. I will try, and I think because it's early enough and I feel like I'm gypping all of you, I am going to try to do this sort of a follow-up to this, which will be more of a regular, longer and harder like usual. So we're going to try to move on with that. There'll be a little bit of a 5-minute break, but if you want to hang around and listen to that, that's great. I'm also going to give Aspie here the opportunity to whore himself out. So Aspie, please whore yourself out.
Everybody try find me at Incred_Aspie on Twitter. Also follow my channel, subscribe to my channel, The Incredible Aspie, for music and occasional commentary videos like the one this guy responded to. And we'll have a good time. And just go there and, watch the videos, comment down below, and like, subscribe, and whatnot. Just enjoy.
All right, everybody. We are going to call it a night there, or not a night. We're going to call it a thing there. We're going to move on because, goddamn, this chat. We're going to try to, after this, if you want to stick around, we're going to try to watch more of Globebusters. So stick around. We'll do a little bit of flat earth stuff, and we will finish out the night with that. Thank you, Aspie, for being the first and honestly the bravest person who has ever come onto my channel, because nobody does this. And it caught me off guard that you actually agreed on here. So thank you very much for coming onto the channel. I really do appreciate it. It is a first, and I think it's very brave of you to come on here and get berated by me and my chat, and you thank you for that.
I don't mind. Thank you for having me on. Thank you for hosting me.
Good night, everybody. If this is the last video, and I'll see you guys in a little bit.